Uh, it's been a struggle, this technology. I if you didn't see my post, I posted on my community page on here that 4 instead of 3. I had to update my phone because the Wi-Fi has been really sketchy, and hopefully this is a good signal. If it's kind of blurry, let me know, please, and I will try to get better service. But I tried on my iPad and it would not connect for me. So here we go again, trying once again. Like I said, I was updating my phone. That took a while, and then I was cooking at the same time. So I'm gonna finish this up before we get into the live. So I hope y'all are doing good out there. Thank you for joining me today. As you can see, I dyed my hair and it's looking a little crazy. I had different colors. Of course, my darker hair, my growth on top, and then this had more of a reddish tint when I dyed it the first time instead of more like the brown that I was going for. So anyway, it's kind of got like a pink tint to it now, but I'm gonna let it dry. I just did this today, so I'm gonna let it dry and see what it looks like, and then assess from there on how I want to move forward as far as dyeing the rest of my hair or like toning it to the color that I actually want. But I've been cooking. See, I got a little steak and egg, sweet potato going on there, and I had like a whole steak, but I didn't need to eat all of it, so thought I have this avocado I need to use. I'm about to cut that, put it with my steak, egg, and sweet potato, and have this jalapeno, and I want to use it, but I can't do a lot of spicy right now because if you've been following my page, I'm doing a 90-day habit challenge. Let me turn this Wi-Fi on to see if this is going to help. Hopefully, my signal is good. But I am doing a 90-day habit challenge, and we're doing it month by month. And every Wednesday, I'm kind of updating on that, talking about how to stick to our habits, how to be consistent with it. And it's like a lifestyle change because we actually want to stick with it this time and not keep, trying and failing and starting over and all of that. So mine, I'm working on my gut health. Well, I can't really do the jalapeno because I'm I need to stay away from like stuff that's going to heat me up from the inside and cause more inflammation and things like that. So I can't do my jalapeno right now. But what I am going to do is eat my food. Steak, egg, and sweet potato is what I got going on. This is why I'm late to the live, as well as trying to update my phone so that I can even do this because, when you don't update, they like throttle you. They like mess your phone up so you can't even use it. And so that's what I've been dealing with, is trying to update this so I could even get on here for the live. And in the meantime, I was cooking because I haven't eaten today and it's getting late. It's kind of crazy, but it's been busy. I dyed my hair, as you can see. Um, I'll adjust the tone another day, but I gotta let it dry so I can see what it really looks like. But I got a little pinkish tone happening on the ends. But my new growth, of course, because my hair is darker and I bleached it, it's coming out this color. But whatever, it is what it is. Gotta let it dry and give it a couple of days to do its thing. I've already like moisturized it and all, so that hopefully I don't have any issues with it. But I got this avocado I need to use. Anyway, how y'all doing out there? Hope everybody's doing good. Hello, Mason. Is my signal, because I've been having issues with this? Is it kind of blurry, or like can you hear me? How are we looking out there? Because I was trying to get on live on my iPad and I've been struggling with that too because my phone was updating, but that didn't work. Can you hear me good? Is it like blurry or anything? I don't know before I like get into the live and like be talking and it's not. That's what happened last week, is it ended up being like really blurry for most of it and it cut out on me actually. Oh, awesome. Thank you for letting me know. How you doing? What's going on? It's been a pretty it's been raining off and on. It's kind of like it's very cloudy. But it's actually warm and yeah, other than it being cloudy, it's nice. And I don't mind the rain. We actually need it. So that's what's going on. I'm in an RV and I ran out of water last night. So I had to use some of my drinking water that I have to flush the toilet and all. Then I got some water refilled today, but I have dishes I got to do. But I did organize and clean this week. Because last week I was kind of resting and all. Oh, nice. You have a trip? What kind of trip? I'm on the East Coast as well, a little further north than you. I've only flown into Atlanta, but I've never actually been in Georgia and like explored any or anything like that, which is kind of crazy. Um, but yeah, I hear Savannah, Georgia is really nice. Not to say that nowhere else is nice out there. Thank you, thank you. I don't know what you said. I guess it may not have shown me what you said, Jamila. To Georgia? Oh, a trip to Georgia? Ah, oh, cool. That's cool. Well, I hear it's nice. Like, um, I'd like to go, like I said, kind of Savannah, Georgia, more towards the coast and kind of see what it looks like out there. Oh, well, then it probably, I have to like approve it, although I don't see where that came through, but it's all good. So yeah, I'm getting my food together. It's been a busy day, like I said. So I had to refill the water in the RV. I got up, was doing that, and then from there was dyeing my hair, and then like trying to adjust the tone from what I could do today. Now I have to wait a couple weeks. What's up? What's up? How y'all doing? And so we'll see. I don't know. I got this pink tone because my hair was like a reddish. It was supposed to be cinnamon. I don't know. It came out kind of red. Yes, Alchemmentor. Alchemmentor. Yes. I hope y'all doing good. Thank you for talking with me, chatting it up. Had a little struggle. Am I seeing you on live TV doing championship? What, like where? What am I looking at? What kind of sport? Is this a sport, I'm assuming? Like and subscribe. Yes, thank you. Like and subscribe. That really support me. I have something I want to share today, which I was debating on even doing it because I've been so like scattered today and it's like so much. And usually I'm more like structured. And some of my lives on Wednesday, I sit down and have like a PowerPoint and I go through things. You want to guess my age? I bet you won't get. What? Boxing? What? Heck yeah. Where's this at? Can I watch it? I want to see that. 43? No, I'm not 43. 23. Nope. Nope. Somewhere, I would say in the middle, but Jamila's closer. Is that how you say it? Jamila? A little bit lower. Cabana Man knows. Yeah, you've been with me for years at this point. More than 32. Where can I watch this boxing at? I um I think it's cool. I see like what's her name, Krishan. I think that's good for her to start to box. But I kind of like maybe at some point I'll talk about that in a second. Maybe at some point no, I'm in my 30s. Now, late 30s. Um I want to do Muay Thai or like something like that. A lot of my nieces and nephews are getting into jujitsu. So that'd be cool too, but more so Muay Thai. And like go over to Thailand and actually like do that would be kind of cool. Uh 38, yes. 38. Y'all did good. Thank you, thank you. Do I smoke? The little Mary Jane. Not at the moment, no. Have I? Yes. I've also worked in the industry at one point for a little bit, legally. I just dyed my hair today. But, so it's, like, drying out right now, and I'm waiting on the color to settle and all that, and I gotta, like, tone it. Oh, thank you. I was trying to do, like, a honey blonde, but when you have certain colors, you gotta, like, learn the color wheel and adjust, and this is all new growth up here from, like, the last probably 4 months or something, and so, yeah, when you have dark hair and you dye it blonde, it turns colors, and then you gotta adjust it from there, and this was already different color. Thank you, appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, I missed the blonde, so I was trying to go back to blonde. Um, and it's a lot of hair to dye. But yeah, so yeah, no, and as far as smoking too, like I mean, I did that for a period of my life, and I have no judgment against anyone who does, and not to say that I would never do it again, but um, just what it does with your lungs and stuff. Sometimes it's just too much. Uh, Can I dye my hair black and do braids with it? When you meet me again, you met me before? Or what you talking about? Add a Q&A sticker. I don't know what that is. But can you dye your hair black and do braids? I was thinking about when I'm gonna do dye my hair again, and I don't think I'm gonna dye my hair blonde or probably even dye it again while I have it in locks. Um, I'm gonna let my hair grow a little bit longer, but the whole thing with the locks, I wasn't really planning on keeping them that long. I didn't know how long. I just said I would know when the time is right for me to. I'm gonna attempt to comb them out. But of course, you can cut them off and stuff like that too. But I'm gonna attempt to cut them off. I know that your hair can kind of look thin and stuff after that. But I'm not gonna do it again until I'm ready to cut them or do whatever next. And then I may dye my hair, I may not. I don't know at that point. Um, it's fine. By the way, can you show me your house? May you please show me? Why do you want to see my house? The color looks cool. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm in an RV, so it's not a house. Yeah, so yeah, I got my food that I'm about to eat. So if you want to watch me eat, you can do that. But I got something else I want to talk about today. So I'm gonna go sit down for a minute. Ugh. Yeah, I was trying to use my iPad to do this, and that did not work. I like hit live, and it just kept saying reconnecting, reconnecting. Um, and I was trying to hook like a webcam up to it because I have like the adapter and stuff. But that didn't work. I don't know. I'll have to see if I can even do that. If you're new here, my laptop crashed, so I don't have it. And then it started working, and then it crashed again. So I'm not counting on that. Uh, is that a chicken salad? No, this is steak and eggs and sweet potato, and then I just cut up an avocado. Okay. Well, yeah. How y'all doing? Wait, you're supposed to tell me about boxing. I'm supposed to watch you on boxing or something? Chicken salad. Why y'all think it's a chicken salad? No. I don't really eat salads like that anyway. I'll put lettuce with some food, but um like bowls, like Mediterranean bowls or Asian bowls or fiesta bowls. Why are y'all set on this chicken salad thing? No, it's called steak. Okay, it's beef, not chicken. Okay, and then there's eggs and sweet potato. Do you plan on going on a diet? No. Exactly. Yeah, I'm sure, Cavana man. Okay, so you must be new around here, but you can go back and watch some of my lives if you want. I'm on doing a gut reset type of a thing. So eating more like whole foods, and so quality meats. My eggs are free range, free eggs. um, so that's why I eat a lot of eggs because that's free, and then whole foods. Usually, I have broccoli. I just didn't cook it because I was trying to get on here. But eating more vegetables and, like I said, just whole foods in general. And then I'm taking certain supplements and herbs. Um, what is with all of these questions, like personal questions? You can actually subscribe to my YouTube channel and learn some things. But Covana Man, you've been here. I did van life for a while, and that was a bit of my YouTube channel vlogging days. Initially, was well that and wellness still, and then just over the years, it's evolved into different things. Was my childhood? Was your childhood good enough? Okay. Like, what's good enough? What's a good childhood? What does that mean? It's a perspective too. So my good may be different from your good as well. You're 48 now. Hmm. Okay. Are you on a diet? You eating a salad? No, I got plenty of those. I'm from the South. Okay. I don't see any curse words because there's restrictions. So there's that. Anyway, all right. I hope y'all doing good out there. The Cardinals are back. If y'all weren't here, late, my live ended last week, but there's two Cardinals. There's a male and a female. So the male is like bright red, and the female is like a grayish. I don't know how to describe it, but they hang out right outside my window. The female hits the side of the RV, the window in the back, and it wakes me up every morning. And throughout the day, she'll like try to run into the window, and I'll have to like holler or try and wave in the window to distract her. But they hang out back here very often. It's pretty cool to see because they're very beautiful. I love cardinals. Okay. Yeah. Eating a little late today. Yeah, see, there we go. Yeah, we got like bots in here. How does that even work? I don't know how that even works. Does somebody like waste their time doing that? Which is kind of pitiful. Not really. It's just like you must have an exciting life. Mm. Mm-mm-mm. What? Oh, I didn't mean to do that. How y'all doing though? Oh, do I have chickens? Hmm. Chickens and turkeys. I mean, they're not mine, but yeah, they live here and they lay probably at least 8 eggs a day. Like it's a lot. There's no way to like keep up with them till you give them away. What the world? You have two chickens. Nice. That's cool. Yeah, got a bunch of chickens and turkeys, and the dog just had babies too. So now there's some puppies, but we can't keep the puppies here. Um, sorry, I need to eat before I get on here talking about stuff. I gotta get some energy. Like I said, it's been a busy day. Just got up and got to doing stuff because I had to get, like I said, get some water in the RV so that I could even do other things. Um, I finally like cleaned and organized stuff. So this is actually like the first time me actually sitting down today. Actually, we had a sandwich from Sprouts. Ooh, I like Sprouts. Yeah, I've had their sandwiches before too. Yeah, that's cool. Yep, I like Sprouts, but there's nothing like that around here. um, I miss what I miss is HEB in Texas. I mean, it's been when did I go? Whenever I was in last year when I was in Texas last. I wish they had something like that around here, but I was talking to this guy. I was on TikTok Live. I got on there 2 or 3 days so far this week. And like 2 days ago, I think it was when I was on there. Like, I guess you could request to be in the same live as someone. So I jumped in with a couple people, or they jumped in with me. And this one guy I talked to, we talked for a while. It was pretty cool. He's from New York. He's in New York, and talking about his living situation and everything. He's in like a building that's collapsing, and so he's just saying, when you live in that type of environment, it makes things hard. You can't trust anybody. It's just you can't bring people there. You don't can't really date and stuff and bring people there. Just all kind of things. So we were having a really good conversation about like life and what to do in an entrepreneur and all of that stuff. Um, why am I telling you this? Oh, and I was saying, I can only imagine. I'm sure they have like bodegas on the corner and everything, but usually places like that, inner city, stuff like that, it's called a food desert, which means you don't have access to a lot of fresh foods and things. And if you do, it's like really expensive. You drove some of Route 66 for the 100th year. Oh, I didn't know it was a 100-year anniversary. I used to live off of Route 66 and drive it a lot. That's pretty cool though. I just think of Cars, the movie Cars. Well, that's cool. I think I'll be out in Cali this summer for a little bit. There's a fly in here. What the heck? How did I get in here? Let's see. I put up a new bird feeder. I want to show y'all the cardinal. Let's see if it's gonna stay over there. You see it? Oh, there it go. Where'd it go? Oh, I don't know. It flew up. Oh, see the female's running into the side of the RV again. Hey, here she go. Now she's back over here. There they go. Here we go. You see them? Well, they keep moving. Sorry, y'all. Trying to show you, but there's this fly in here. That's the male, and the female's over there somewhere. Oh, she's in the tree. I don't know if you can see her, but yeah, I'm about to get this electric fly swatter in a second because that's annoying. I haven't had an issue with any flies in here so far, but we'll see how this hair turn out too. Ariel, give me a second. I can't do this because I can hear it. Because otherwise, it's pretty quiet and nice out here. You don't hear anything, so you hear every little. Where'd it go? I hear it. Well, either way, is it flying around my food? Uh, I cut off a piece of rosemary and it's actually growing now. It's got some roots, so that's been so far a success. So I'll let it get some more roots and then I'll plant it. I was trying to do a sweet potato, but it's not growing. What's it called? Not sprouts. I forgot what it's called. Something with an S. Um, but I want to grow some of those, but they're not sprouting or whatever. Any of y'all got any gardens or stuff that you're growing? Anybody growing anything? No, I don't hear the fly. So I'm gonna start back batch recording some of my content. It's been, like I said, last week was more of a reset for me, and then this week it's realigning, and now I can move forward. Um, I finally, got some of my product in that I've been waiting on, working on. If you've watched some of my videos, you've heard me talk about it over the past few months about different struggles. Yeah, that's the thing is when you're growing stuff, you got animals and insects and all kind of things that even just the sun and having the right nutrients and all that. So, it's a kind of a balancing act with that. And yeah, certain animals, like even the chickens, like certain vegetables and plants, they'll start picking at. So it makes it hard. Um, and getting the right amount of sunlight and depending on your space, being able to grow foods in the space that you have, the type of foods that you want as well. Because you can grow something, but then it's like, am I even going to eat it, or am I just going to have like a lot of whatever it is? Well, anybody need some turkey feathers? I got a bunch of them. Little quill type turkey feathers. I start collecting them when I find the good ones. But yeah, so I've been working on a product for a while, and I've been wanting to do this since um 2023-ish, 2022, um when I quit my job in Texas and restart my business and to really kind of like go full into my business. And I ended up going more into the nutrition side of things at that time and coaching. And I was still doing, I do like freelance marketing and web design on the side as well. And so, you get it when you're an entrepreneur in that way, and you do like gig work or whatever it is, you gotta have multiple sources of income. Although they say you should have multiple sources of income either way, not all your eggs in one basket as far as income, diversify your portfolio, that whole thing. Um, yeah, see, the worms did it. Yeah, different rodents, and then like alphids. And we tried tomatoes and like cucumbers and different things like that. But I know the alphids we had in Texas, they kept eating up the tomatoes. But yeah, so being an entrepreneur, a business owner is not easy. And I've worked with small businesses and medium sized businesses, helping them, working in them, like again, designing websites as well as working in the companies and, just seeing different aspects of it. Um, but when I went into the nutrition side of things, it was because a lot of people, one, marketing, and the fact that most people, although they want to say it, they just want to lose weight. They want to look good. Because we think that when someone looks good, they must have a good life. They must be happy or whatever it is. Like if I look good, then I'll be happy. If I have this, then this. You know, I would argue that now, if you can enjoy now and be present now and have gratitude now, you would have a different perspective on life. But anyway, I say that because that's why I went more into nutrition because I'm a holistic wellness guide, is what I say. I'm not going to say coach, I say guide. And so in the holistic wellness space, uh you focus on the mind, body, and the spirit. All the areas affect the other areas, right? And so the body, though, I initially went with nutrition because people want to lose weight. we initially, if I say I can help you lose however many pounds, you're going to be like, oh, yes, that's what I want. If I say I can help you look like this image that you have in mind, because you'll pick an image of some celebrity or model or whoever, and you say, I want to look like this. And I say I can help you get there, you can be like, yes, that's what I want. I mean, not knowing that what you need is different than what you might want. But um, so I went and focused more on nutrition, got certified as a nutrition coach, and was doing that for a bit to supplement income and all this other stuff. But that was not my true passion. I know the importance of nutrition. I know the importance of what we eat and consume and how that works in our body. And so that is something to pay attention to, but that is not a baseline thing. Now, it depends on who you are, where you're at in life, what your goals are. Maybe that is your main focus. Maybe you need to do that because of whatever issues you have going on. But since I am a holistic wellness guide, I want to tell you the truth, okay? That not not everybody's going to be nutrition. Some it is because that affects our mind, our gut health affects our mind. It's some people say the second brain, okay? It sends signals to your brain and it tells your body what's happening. And then we question like, why is this happening? Why is this happening? I'm doing all this. And it's like, well, your body's telling you something, but our interpretation of that determines what we think and then our actions that we take. And if our guts are messed up, which most of us it is, most of us have parasites. We haven't done a cleanse. This is what I'm doing right now on my 90-day habit challenge that I'm doing. If you're following along, if not, go ahead and subscribe. Okay, but our gut is important, so nutrition is very important. To at least assess it, and at least once a year, up to twice a year, doing some sort of a reset. But for me, that's not my initial passion, although I know the importance of it and how it's a ripple effect and how it's connected. Okay. I love personal development. I love the inner work, although it's not easy and it's hard and it's not always fun and all this stuff. I just love growth in general, which is why I'm the growth guide on YouTube. Okay. And so, but growth is in whatever area it is for you, whatever it is that you're looking and seeking for growth in, which will be change. Where do you want change in your life? Okay. And a lot of us either fear the person or the change, the unknown of change, or we fear staying the same. So, this is why I say it goes deeper than just just losing weight, because it's like that's not really what you actually want. I've talked about this before of how we want the feelings that are attached with these things. We don't necessarily, we might think we want these things. And until we get them, we don't realize that we actually want something else. And we're trying to figure out what that actually is. But we want feelings. We want to feel good, right? We want to feel happy. We want to feel different than how we feel right now. We want to feel something. And so, this is why there's different steps that we take. Okay, in some of my videos, I'll sit down and I'll have PowerPoints on some of my lives on Wednesday. Some of my other videos, I sit down and like have more of a structured, scripted video. And I haven't done that in a while because I've been moving, traveling, trying to figure things out because I'm going through a transition myself in life, and I'm finally, deciding on how to move forward. In most of my areas, I still figuring out a couple things, but this is my personal side, and I try to share that as well because this is real life. Okay. That's why I'm taking you along on this habit challenge and I'm doing it myself because I'm showing like this is a lifestyle. People always are like, oh, you look young for your age. And yeah, I mean, there's genetics that plays a part, but also it's lifestyle. And you have to understand that there's epigenetics. Okay. And epigenetics is like the expression of your DNA. So we would say that my genes, it's in my genes and this runs in my family and blah, blah, blah. That's true. However, your lifestyle will determine if some of those genes and expressions of those genes, the way it expresses in your body and comes out and reveals itself, is either turned on or not, is expressed or not, which would mean our environment affects that. Our foods affect that. Our minds and thoughts and beliefs affect if parts of our DNA, these genes, are turned on or not. So that's why it's important. This is why I say holistic wellness, because these things affect us on a deeper level. And I've been working on research and study, and I still do it, and I'm passionate about it, so I'm going to continue to do it. Like, this is what I do and I love to do. Okay. Is one, to help people, is to help. And I do it on myself. I test it on myself before I, talk about it fully, and I'll tell you if I'm not 100% about something or know a whole lot about it. Your passions are traveling, exploring, music, cycling, and working out. I love that. I love that. And those are good passions to have. And that's what excites you. And the more that you travel, it makes you happy, right? It puts you in a state to where you enjoy life in the moment. Cycling and working out, you're taking care of yourself, but you also enjoy that. So you found how to enjoy movement. You found how to find enjoyment in your life. Music, you turn on some music and it helps you. If you can't express yourself, it helps you feel like you are being seen and heard, and like others, you're not alone. Okay, so you're not suppressing feelings, and you're not angry all the time, and you're not stressed all the time, and you're not being unhealthy and not moving. You're actually moving. So good job. You're doing the work. You found what works for you, what I call your flow state. Okay, this is your rhythm in life. You found your rhythm. It takes a while. Some people don't in this lifetime. But I think it's important because I think it if you've ever had a near death experience, then I'm sure you know. And most people who do, it's like when that happens afterward, you're like, how am I you assess how you're living your life. What's worth it or not. You start to assess these things. And this is why I say until you get uncomfortable, you won't change, because you have to be uncomfortable to change. A near death experience, a spiritual experience, something that will change your perspective and make you assess how you've been living your life and really value and look at what you value. Like, what I been stressing about and what I've been doing, is that worth my life if I'm gone tomorrow? Is that worth me stressing about? Is that worth my energy? Me putting energy into that, giving more energy into it, or absorbing whatever that is. Is it worth it or not? And then you assess, and then you make a change. It changes your perspective, which changes your belief, because if my belief used to be I have all the time in the world and I'm so focused on right now, I have narrow vision. And when something like that happens, near death experience is something, your vision is open. You remember all these things, it comes back to you. You have the feelings of those moments. This is memories, and I've been talking about memories lately. Okay. Because we've been so focused in and we're replaying old memories, which are biased. And there's no way we can remember every single thing. Even if you think you do, there's no way. Different people's perspective from the same event. There's no way you can hold all of those feelings. What you're holding is the trauma, maybe the tenseness in your tissue, literally holding that energy, those emotions. This is why they say the body keeps the score. It holds the trauma, because when that thing happened, your body tensed, and that's energy stopped. It stopped and it got stuck in whatever was tense at that moment. And whenever you feel those things that remind you of that, it's going to bring all of that back up. And it's still stuck in that area. And until you release it and let it flow, it's going to be stuck. Okay. Again, holistic. How can we fully express ourselves if we're stuck and stagnant? Okay. If we have narrow vision. Now, there's seasons in life. There's seasons and cycles. I talk about this a lot. So there's a season where you should be focused. If you're working on certain projects and things like that, you need to narrow your vision. And some people, depending on, how your mind works and things like that. But sometimes we're so in our own life, we need to step out and step back. And again, until these experiences happen to where you have no choice, your body reacts in the moment. Oh my God, this might be it. Or maybe it was some people who left and came back. Still trying to get this fly. Some people who left and came back, they have a different perspective on life. But would that have happened if that experience didn't happen to them? Probably not. And the only way you can intentionally do that for yourself, well, I mean, there's a couple ways you can do it. We can go skydiving. We can do something that gets our heart pumping so fast and it makes us feel like this might be it. I know one time when I was on a plane, I thought it was going down. We had so much turbulence and it kept dropping and dropping and it was like storming and all kind of stuff. And that's when I was like, what am I doing with my life? Like if I were to go, did I actually fully take advantage of my life and the resources that I have, the opportunities that I have? Or am I just squandering it all? For what? And that's also why I started traveling at one point too. I didn't have a near death experience. I had more of a spiritual experience at that point, what some would call an awakening. Okay. Yeah, I haven't done skydiving yet, but I will. That will be something that I will try one day, probably soon. My brother wants to do it, so that'll probably be soon, maybe next year sometime. Um, but I mean, that'll change your perspective, you know? And once you do it, you face that fear, then you're like, whoa, like it opens your eyes to things. Okay. And um, so when I had like my awakening and spiritual experience I had like way back when, um, and I believe this is actually when I started my YouTube channel, which when I first started like actually posting consistently back then, I think it was like 2011, um, doing more vlog style and just journaling and documenting my life and lifestyle was like 2011. And that's when I just started being a seeker, what I call being a seeker. You question things. We start to ask questions because, like a lot of people right now, the veil has been dropped or whatever, and we're seeing things for what it is. People's eyes are open, awakening, okay, whatever you want to call it. You're seeing things for what it is, and now you have to question things. We can't blindly follow anymore. And so many people were just blindly following because that's what you do. That's what we're supposed to do, the American dream. Yeah, and that started my traveling. Because like I said, I went through this whole awakening, the spiritual experience. I grew up in a Christian home. Okay. On I'm trying to get this fly. Um Religious, okay? I struggle with my own identity as a lesbian in a Christian home growing up and as a mixed person, being the person that was different. I was the only mixed one, okay? And so you feel different. You feel out of place sometimes. Things are different. I wore glasses, my hair was poofy, like all this stuff. Okay. So I had identity issues growing up, which we all try and find ourselves and, different points in life we rediscover and all this stuff. But I'm just trying to share a little of my journey of why I even think the way I do, why I'm doing what I'm doing, why I'm sharing what I'm sharing, okay? And why I got into traveling and all that. So, yes, religion, all this. Got a little bit older. Start to ask questions on my own because why don't I fit the mold? No matter how much I try, I don't fit the mold. I can't. It just doesn't work for me. And got it. um, and so we'll see if that one keeps it down or not. But yeah, why don't I fit the mold? This American dream, this box that you're supposed to be in, that we're told to be in, that we grow up, we're conditioned to do, be a slave to this system, do what they say, but they don't say it in that way. It's like, oh, this is what you want. We're going to show you what you want. We're going to market it to you. We're going to show you on the shows. We're going to, this is how we do it here. Don't be different, because if you're different, people are going to look at you. It's going to be dangerous. It feels dangerous because that's just, tribe. You want to be a part of the tribe. And if you're not, then you're outcast and now you got to survive on your own. So that triggers things. But anyway, identity, issues, which I say a lot of us are going through identity crisis right now because we think we're supposed to do this American dream. What do we have then if there's not the thing that we're supposed to be working towards? What does it even look like? What do we want? Okay, we're questioning these things, which is okay. We should. It's okay. And so I was questioning things. I had my spiritual awakening. Okay. I still struggled for a while. And I was like, well, if I was baptized when I was a kid, I didn't consciously choose that. So I need to consciously choose that for myself, right? Can you get rebaptized? So it was a whole thing with that. It was a lot going on in the world, Y2K, like all this stuff. The world's going to end. Then I found Mayan calendar, all this, just all the things that's going on in the world. Of course, war, terrorism, all these things, all of that during that time. And so now I'm questioning things because I'm like, one, I've never fit into this box. I'm finding out all this is a lie. What is this? I'm trying to figure out what I believe. And I pursued that. And then it's like, that just still wasn't for me. It wasn't. Not to knock anybody or whatever, but I had to go on my own journey to figure out what it is that I truly believe in this life. And what is this? What are we? Who are we? Who am I? Because I was given a name when I was born. And I was told, this is where you live. This is your family. This is your name. This is how we do things. This is how we eat. This is how we walk. This is how we talk. Now we're going to send you to school to be programmed to be in this society and to fall in line, to not stand out, to do what you're told to do. Okay. And then we retire at a certain age, blah, blah, blah. Well, I graduated college during the time that I had my awakening, all this stuff. And there were no jobs in my industry on the East Coast, like that. I had to start my own business. This is when I started being an entrepreneur. Okay. But I also learned from my uncle and stuff. He always was an entrepreneur himself, a business owner. And so I did my own thing doing that. I wanted to do film and stuff like that because I wanted to share my message. If I saw how they can put whatever propaganda they want out there, I said, well, if I got people like me, if I know I'm here, I know there's others like me. So I want to make films to send certain messages out there. That was my initial thing. That's what I graduated doing, marketing and video production, and that we say broadcast because that was all they had in my college during that time. Okay. Anyway, recession, graduated. 65% of people who graduated during that time did not have a job in their field of study because of the recession. A lot of people went back, like right now, a lot of people went back to live with their families, their parents, and stuff like that. Okay. So this is during a time of a lot of distress and a lot of like identity crisis. Like, what is going on? What's happening? All this. Anyway, I went on that whole journey myself. I would go out into the woods by myself in the town I was in the backyard, but it was kind of like in between houses. And I would just go out there and I would do bushcrafting. I would learn about prepping because I'm like, if anything were going to happen, I need to learn these things. Okay. Because, most of the time, like I would be on my own, okay, as a solo female. And then I had debt from college, right? Of course. Okay. So now I'm in this debt trap, okay, for college but I'm not going to go down that. But I got this audiobook. I don't know if I've read an article or something because I was like, how do I pay off debt? How do I get out of this situation? All these things. How to make money? Even though I was a business owner and doing my own production and all this stuff, I did music videos for local people. I did commercials. I did small film, whatever I could get, whatever gigs I can get, video or audio. But it was up and down because you never know when you're going to get the next one. So, I'm still stuck in this survival mentality and figuring out who I am. And so up and down to these gigs, trying to figure out how to pay off this debt, all this other stuff. But then what is life? Existential crisis, all this stuff. Is there is even any point? Because by the time we retire, there is no Social Security. So what's the point in working the job like that if there is no security, if there's nothing to work towards? So I had already questioned all of this back then. Okay, like I said, this is around like 2011, 2012. I guess I read an article or something, maybe how to make money, how to pay down debt, whatever it was. I don't know what it was. And the article sent me to this guy who was living in a van at Duke University to pay off of his student loans. How's this young lady out here traveling alone? I was scared for you. Yeah, a lot of people are. And that's a thing. And I do appreciate that. My family, of course, they're like, worried and all this stuff the whole time. They're always, of course, you're always going to worry about your family if they're not around you and if they're alone and stuff like that. Um, and that's why I documented it too. Because again, I want to show that like it is possible to live a different life. And I needed to learn what is the world, because we're always told by the news, we're always told by the movies and the shows and all this what the world looks like and in these other countries and how people are, and now we have this preconceived notion of how this person, they look this way so they must be like this, or they talk this way so they must be like that. I wanted to go see for myself. So I went to go see for myself and document it and learn. All of this that I share is through lived experience. Okay. And again, to share, to show life is more than maybe what we were taught. What if life is different than what we were told? What if there's more? What if it can be different? You know? So, anyway, and I always say it's a magical experience, a grand adventure. Okay. But I try to break this down, come in like a relatable side, and then we're going to go there. Okay. So, all of that, all of that, all identity crisis, debt, all these things, trying to figure out what to do next in this world. What does it even look like? What does the future look like? How do I fit into any of this as a single lesbian person of color from the South? Okay, back then too. All right, trying to figure out who I am, and growing up in a religion that says I'm an abomination. I shouldn't even live. Right? Some people still think that. But it's okay, whatever. So then it was like, you want me gone? I'm going to be here. I'm going to show up. I'm going to take up space. And that's okay. Uh, and there's a lot of people like me, which is why I share my story. And this is why I do what I do, because I know how it is. There's a lot of people in my community who have taken their lives, who feel like they are not worth anything, who struggle with depression and anxiety, who don't want to leave the house. And you don't have to look like me or be like me to identify with that. Especially nowadays, after COVID, there's some people have even been saying it, like something's wrong with some of our brains out here. And a lot of people stayed in the house and they still are in the house. And yes, the convenience helps with getting stuff delivered, but you need to get outside. We need to socialize. You touch people. Like it's pretty wild. But anyway, this is why I share it, because this is life. Live life while you have breath in your lungs. Why are we not living? This is what we have, and it's your right. I had somebody ask me, what is Born Vital? That's my business name. Born Vital. I don't know if this is mirrored or not, but Born Vital. That's my business right there. And they were like, what is that? What's that? Because they changed my name on TikTok because I opened a shop on TikTok. And when I open a shop, it changes your username to the shop name, which is Born Vital. That's my website, bornvital.com. Okay. Born Vital because I believe one, vitality. That's wholeness. That's health. Okay. And this is sacred. Not everybody gets to live as long as we are doing. Not everybody gets to experience this right now. Not everybody has these resources and these opportunities. So it is vital. And we all play a part and we affect each other. And it is important because there's those, whoever they are, we got a lot of names for them. Whatever it is, some people would say it's the wizard in the Wizard of Oz, and it ends up being some short guy, and he doesn't even have as much power as we think they have. But anyway, we're not going to go there today. Okay. But I'm just saying that if it's known mind control on different levels, that if I can get you to believe something, like the whole thing about, I don't know if you've ever seen a jar and they had like fleas or something, fleas in a jar. It has a lid on it. And they've stayed in there for a while, and then they take the lid off, and the fleas still only jump but so high. They don't jump out of it because they've been trained to only jump but so high. Although they can jump out of there. Yes, thank you. House music, oh, for sure. Yeah. But that's the thing, is if I don't have that opportunity to experience that and feel safe to do that, what kind of life am I living? What does that teach me? I believe that some of these things are intentional. And that's why I do the work that I do and share what I share, because it is so important, because we need people thriving to build new. That's the thing. If we need new systems, if we don't think it's possible, if we're unhealthy and our minds can't think, I don't have clarity because of my gut issues and I got parasites and dis-ease and I've been holding on to certain traumatic events and energy and thoughts and beliefs, then my glass ceiling is only gonna be but so high. I can also be controlled more, right? Because if what I need, this person has, they can charge more, they can put what they want in it. Okay, they can make, like, you need to do these things to be able to get that. I don't want to be relying on that. And also being self-employed, I didn't have health insurance, so I had to be healthy myself. Like, again, these are just things that happened through my life, which is why I talk about the path or the way. Okay, if you were on my YouTube before, Covanity, I know you know this. TAO, The Amazing Odyssey. That was the name of my YouTube channel initially. The Amazing Odyssey of Tito, me. Okay, because I wanted to travel. So going back to the guy in the van at Duke University, I listened to his book and he talked about how he paid off his student loans. He was even going for his master's degree at Duke. He paid off the first degree. He's living in a van at Duke University, and it was the accounts of him living in a van at Duke University and what he went through and how it is living in a van. And I was like, whoa, I can have everything I need with me. I can travel, something I love to do. I can save money, okay, all by living in a van, by living on wheels. So then I started to research, of course, YouTube. RVs. Whoa, I love RVs. And then I started to remember that when I was younger, my grandpa, he had a conversion van, and in those old school conversion vans, those Chevys and stuff, the back seat will lay down as a bed. And I thought that was cool because I always thought, like, I can be anywhere and, like, be chilling. I had another family member who had an RV at one point, and they had a huge family, and they had this RV, and they pulled up on our street, and we're like in the ghetto in the inner city, and it was amazing because I saw something different than what I saw in front of me in the ghetto, hearing at night, and, like, you just see the struggle, and this is all because you live in that. Okay, and how do you get out of that? You don't feel like you can even escape from this. So, but seeing those things, it kind of planted something in me, or I always just thought, oh, that's cool. Like, that's something to do. And then when I saw the dude in the van or listened to him or whatever, it was like, wait, I want to do that. My parents had went to live overseas, and I got the opportunity to go over there and visit. On my way over there, I listened to that audio book about him living in a van. I started to research. I was already trying to find ways to make money online because, again, I need to pay debt. Again, I'm self-employed. I need to hustle and make money any kind of way. So I'm selling things, I'm doing whatever. I had started to look into writing ebooks because Amazon had opened up Kindle publishing at the time. I started to do ebooks. I had ghostwriters, and then I also ghostwrote myself under different pen names. Okay, I have a pen name under somebody else. I use a male name because patriarchy. Okay, and I wrote some books under this name and put them out there. At the time, you got paid per purchase. Now you get paid per page flip, which is different. It's not as much and all this other stuff. So there go that cardinal hitting my window again. I don't know if y'all can see out that window. It's not very bright, but hey. And the fly has awoken out of its slumber. Anyway, all right. So, yes, Kindle publishing, trying to make money online. I was looking into eBay and all this stuff. So this was when I first started doing those things. So when I flew over to Italy, I listened to this audiobook about living in a van, what that's like. When I got there, I had made it my goal to write a book while I was there. While I was there, I researched more into living in vans, and I found about RV life. I started looking into that. And then I was also working on writing a book. And then it was coming down time for me to leave to come back. And I was like, I don't want a job in a cubicle. I have nothing to look for. Like, there's no American dream. That what everybody says in American dream is not what I want. I don't see representation for me. So I don't even know what that looks like necessarily, but I know it's not that. So I was working on what that looks like, as well as learning to grow as a person, learning to grow my business, because that's the whole thing. Is entrepreneurship is actually makes you go on a spiritual experience. It makes you go and dive deeper, because you are the one doing all of these things, and you have to be in tip top shape mentally, physically, spiritually, like all these things, to be able to continue to produce, continue to do the things that are needed to make money to live. So that was my journey. Um, I had like a week. I gave myself a week to write the book, The 5 Keys to Living a Successful Life. That was my first physical copy book that I wrote in a week, published it myself. I saw that I could make money online. And then it was from there. When I got back, I had a Jeep. I was given a Jeep. Uh, Looking back, I would do things differently for sure, a little bit different. But I had a Jeep. I said, when I get back, I'm selling my Jeep. I listed my Jeep when I got back, like immediately when I got back. I listed my Jeep. It didn't take long because it was a nice Jeep and they hold their value. So I got a good amount for the Jeep. I found an RV. I made it to like that same day, or like a day or two apart or something, to where I sold the Jeep, bought the RV, took it back to my brother's house, cleaned it up, built it out, built the desk in it. Go back and watch some of those videos of my first RV I had. Okay. I was going. And then I was like, I got to sell these books. I got to sell this stuff online because I want to go travel. I'm not staying here in the city that I grew up in, that I feel like has some kind of like energy warp, vampire draining, stuck energy on it. Okay. Very conservative, very conservative. One of the most conservative, like literally, okay, cities. And so I had to get out, and this was my way out. And so I got my RV built out, even though it was what, a 1984 RV. Did what I needed to do, put new tires on it, made sure that all these things, and took off. And that was my journey you saw or can see on here. And I started to travel, and in the traveling and being an entrepreneur, again, it's been a journey, and I've had to learn, because I was by myself. I was a solo woman traveling. So that makes you have to trust your instincts. That puts you in situations that you have to learn from immediately. And that was the thing, is I said, what is life? I'm going to live it now. I'm not going to wait. I'm not going to be told any of these things. Now, I learned from others and all this other stuff, but I said, I want to live it now, and I'm going to throw myself in it, and I will learn as I go. That's how I live my life. That's my dyed hair right now, because I'm going to throw myself in it, and then I will learn how to fix it later. Okay. But this is also why I share, so that some people don't have to do that. You can just learn from me. All right. And I'll share what's worked, and you take what you need, leave the rest. All right. But I'm just sharing my journey. That's why I try to be as authentic as I can and share my journey on here, on TikTok, on my social media as much as I can. One, because hopefully you listen to this story to understand why I'm so passionate about what I do, because it's personal, but also because I know it can help. This bird keeps hitting the window. So this is why I share, and this is what I do. But I got to a point, because I then, when I had the RV, it broke down, got the van, traded that whole thing. Go back and watch my videos. You can see the whole journey from there to now. Okay. Uh, when I was in Texas, I started really selling stuff on eBay and Amazon, like physical items. Then I started to get more into wholesaling on Amazon and drop shipping and having a product, but nothing really resonated. Thank you for joining me. I do appreciate that. And sticking with me throughout all these years too. So you're seeing like the growth and the changes and all that. But I got more deeper into that business to really be more not self-employed, but an entrepreneur, but a business owner, which is different, And so not having so many side hustles and gigs, but narrowing it down and having more focus to establish what it is that I want to build and establish in this world. Because this is my creation, this is my expression. So how am I going to express? This is why I share this, because this is the way I'm expressing. Okay. And I will grow and learn, and we have the right to change and all this other stuff. But for right now, this is what's going on. Okay. So I started to do that, get more into eBay. I was really hustling. So I would go to estate sales, yard sales, thrift stores, buy buy low, sell high. That's business. Buy low, sell high. Buy low, sell high. All right. Buy low, create something, sell it. This is business. All right. And so I would do that with used items, secondhand items, because I do care about the earth and sustainability. All right. And I know the effects on our future. Like, what kind of future do we want? What are we doing right now? We vote with our money as well. I don't want to support some businesses, so let's do it a different way too. So anyway, I did that for a while. I got a job in an auction company. I grew up in there, got the general manager, built out shipping department in there, like all kind of stuff. Did that for a while. I loved it. We did estate sales online as well as business liquidations. And but the thing is, that's when I got a storage unit. After traveling and being simplistic and all this other stuff, I got a storage unit because I would see so many cool things. And this is stuff that you don't see nowadays because they no longer make these things. So when you saw something good, kind of got to snag it, especially for a good price. Like, we started the bids at like $3, and if nobody got it, then I'm like, that's a cool item. You can't find that anywhere. And I started to learn the value of certain items and what people pay for, which is people. Some people are weird. It's kind of crazy, like what they pay for, but there are collectors of a lot of different things out there. Okay, so anyway, that was a part of my business journey, and from there, I was working in that company, and it was cool. I enjoyed, like I said, it was like all this stuff. I was working up, doing well. I had this really nice RV I was living in. I was making money. I was living in Houston, like all this stuff. Now that I had gotten out of a long term relationship, I was thriving, man. I was working out, feeling good. But then I was getting burned out because I was working so hard on someone else's business, and I didn't feel like it was reciprocated. And when you start doing a whole lot and then there was no good retention, and it was a lot of different things that started to be affected in the business. And then there were some, in my opinion, kind of moral type of things that I couldn't consciously, I didn't want my name on it. All right. And so then I started to like, I tried to have the conversations and all this other stuff, said, this is how I'm feeling. Something needs to change. Nothing was changing. I was starting to get burned out. I mean, I was burned out. I worked all the time. I was on call all the time because I was a general manager. So if somebody needed an issue, somebody didn't show up, we need to hire, fire, customers, everything, all these things. I had a lot of responsibilities in this business. Okay. And I was still doing the marketing. Okay. Social media and email marketing, the webs design. Like, I was doing a lot. All right. So I was burned out. Brought it to the attention. Nothing happened. Nothing changed. Okay. Raise this and that. Oh, it happened here. But then we also needed to, again, a whole thing. I was questioning things. I never really took vacation. I barely even got sick. I don't even know if I was even getting sick, maybe a little sniffle here and there or something, but I still showed up at work all the time. I didn't take vacation like that. I would do it during a holiday. So then I already had those days off, that type of thing. But I never really took vacation. And then I was like, I'm going to take my vacation. I took 2 weeks off to assess what I was going to do in my life. Do I have a good signal, by the way? Because I know last week it wasn't a good signal. So just let me know if this is a good signal, if you can hear me. I appreciate that. And thank you all who have hit the like button and who's been watching with me and sticking around. This is long, and I didn't expect to go on this whole tangent about my journey, but I do want to share before I show you what I've been working on, because it's important to understand this. Okay. But I took my 2 weeks. I went on a cruise, my first time ever going on a cruise, and I thought it was amazing. I went solo, of course. Went on a cruise that has solo rooms in a solo area. You can only get in there if you were a solo rider, and met some other solo people. And it was really cool, great time. After that, I took time to really figure out what I wanted to do, what I was doing. Awesome. Thank you for letting me know. All this stuff. And then decide what I was going to do. Got back, nothing was still changing. There was no discussion about it. And so I put in my 2 week notice. Okay. And then I was out of there, and I was going to build my business in the way that I knew selling products that I was passionate about, not just something to make money, not just whatever it was, what was trending or anything like that. I tried all these different things and it just wasn't working. Uh, and so I was establishing a new business and still, because I did marketing and websites and all this other stuff. So I was still doing that because that was the quick income while I was working on what this new business would look like. And it really was just transforming something that I already had and just refining it to something that resonated more with me, that I didn't mind talking about because I have an issue with sales. I have an issue. I mean, I can market like email marketing, social media, that type of thing. I can market someone else's business and product because I'm detached from it. But for me personally, I don't want to sell something. I want to offer something and something that you need and want. I don't want to have to sell it. Okay. But I know it's needed and wanted, and it can help. But I still got to work on those skills. So anyway, we'll get there. We're working on it. Okay. But so I started to build that business. And like I said, I went into more nutrition on that side of things to approach it from that area, but I'm still holistic wellness guide. So that was just a foundation on one side point for me to learn a bit more in the nutrition side of things and get a better understanding of it so that I can talk about my clients. I had different clients that I was working with for that. But then I had things I needed to work on. Now, this has happened throughout my traveling and stuff where I had times in my life where for me to get to the next level, the next version of me, I had to die to my old self. I had to release old beliefs and I had to figure out what it was I believed to then get past that glass ceiling. Because if my old beliefs of poverty were keeping me here, then I would have thought, I can't travel as a solo woman. It's dangerous out there. I would have never done that. While I was out there, I can't keep traveling. My RV broke down. This must be a sign that that's it and that's it. No, I kept going because this is what I wanted. I can't do that. There was just different mental blocks, limiting beliefs that I had to get past to get to another level, another version of myself, another layer. And this was my first book, 5 Keys to Living a Successful Life. On the back of it, I talk about Michelangelo and the statue of David. And I was just saying, like, even a potter, okay, someone in, sculptor, you take this raw material and you chip away at it. You don't know, you may have an idea of what it's going to look like and what you want, but it's a raw piece of material. You can't see what it truly is, but you chip away at it a little at a time, and then it reveals what it really is. And I believe in life, that's kind of what happens. We slowly chip away at different things to reveal who we are, to learn more about who we are, to show up fuller as who we are, to learn what we like and don't like, how we want to show up, how we want to affect others around us, because we do affect others. Okay, we express, and that expression sends a ripple effect out, and it does affect other people. Okay, and so this is my journey, and this is what I've been working on. And when I was doing nutrition coaching, what I really wanted to do was to create this product and to share it to help people. Okay, I didn't know fully what it would look like. I just knew that it would be some sort of a box that had items inside of it that could help people. And at the time, I had to go on my inner journey before I could get to another level of myself, another version of myself, to fully express and share this information and be vulnerable and to want to show up like this. And again, learning more about who I am and how I work and what I like and I don't like and all this other stuff, and then getting older, different things happen to your body. So I had to work on different things and just like all this. And then I wasn't making a lot of money. And my living situation changed because I was attached to the job I was working. And so I had to make some decisions, and I had to leave that state at the time to reassess and readjust. And it was like a whole process. And that was my whole transformation journey, which led me to writing my newest book. I don't have it right next to me. It's over there. But The Way of the Seeker. Okay. I am very, very much more able to talk about that book than my first book, The 5 Keys to Living a Successful Life. Although I did those things that are in that book. It's valuable information. It just wasn't written the best way. I was just trying to see if it could work and what I can do. Now I do call myself an author. Okay, I've written multiple books, two of them that are physical. The first one, Five Keys. Now this one, The Way of the Secret, that just came out this year. And that is basically me taking this last few years after I left my job, had to go on a whole new self discovery journey, the dark night of the soul, as some people call, or an ego death, the death to the old self. After I've done this a few times, I've noticed the patterns. Okay. And then hearing other people's experiences and connecting that to psychology and sociology and like all these things, it's like, okay, well, here's some patterns that I've noticed. And it's the hero's journey that they talk about. You see it in a movie. This is like foundational. This is the archetypes that we see in life, in humanity. Okay. And I just noticed those patterns and I wrote it in a way that resonated with me. And also, I have practices in there. So after each chapter, it's a practice to do. So if you are feeling those things, feeling like that person in the story felt during that time, then you can do these practices. And that should help you in the moment to continue on your journey, to not get stuck. Because sometimes we'll get stuck in certain points in our life and it's a spiral, it's a loop. In the book as well, there's a map at the back of it too. And that's the journey basically. And I call them gateways. There's different gateways or entrances to another level, another version of you, to a new experiences. And you have to, it's kind of like an initiation to go through certain things to then get to another level, to get to the other side of the gateway. And once you get to the other side, then we learn more stuff, but we take what we've already learned there with us. And there's treasure to be learned. And there's like, it's a continuous journey. It's life. And at the time too, The Amazing Odyssey, Tao, Tao. So then I made Tao of Tito. I didn't know it at the time, but Taoism, the way, the way. I didn't know that. I didn't know about that belief. I told you, I grew up in a religious home. I didn't know about a lot of other beliefs. Everything was of the devil. Like everything was not to be touched or looked into because you don't know what's going to happen. Fear. Okay. Then I find that out and I was like, whoa, that's kind of crazy. But a lot of times there's these synchronicities. I don't call them coincidences because I don't believe in coincidences. Okay. The synchronicities in life that happen and I pay attention to them more now. Okay. Learning to trust my instinct more instead of like doubting it so much. Okay. And then just choosing and deciding and moving on there. And what happens, I take responsibility for it. And like I said, so then this last time that I went through this ego death, I wrote in my book, The Journey, The Way of the Seeker, okay, it was some deep work, some real deep inner work I had to go on to look at who I am, why I do the things I do, why I think the things I think, why I respond in the way I do. And I also had to learn myself. How do I like to be talked to, or how do I like to go do these things? How do, just all these different aspects. And I talk about a life audit. It was kind of like that and really assessing these things, but going deep. Okay. And then addressing these beliefs that I had. And then what does it look like? And then where do I want to go from here? So, like I said, a lot of work. But I didn't want to get on here online and try and sell you something that I didn't fully believe, and also that I couldn't fully express because there was something holding me back as my ceiling. And so I wouldn't be able to fully show up. I wouldn't be able to fully create something lasting. It would be something quick. And I didn't want something quick because, I mean, we can get, like I said, drop shipping, Amazon wholesale, FBA, where you ship your product to their warehouse and they take care of all that. You just do the back end stuff for the listing and then you sell it. You just need capital, money up front to purchase a product. You send it to their warehouse and they ship it out. Okay. But then that becomes a game of numbers and who can race to the bottom, because if everybody's selling it, like, it's a whole thing. And I was trying to do that, but it wasn't working. I just, the products, the whole thing just, it didn't resonate with me because I don't do that. I don't like that. Okay. I needed something that I could embody, that I use and I know will help. And I tried to do RV stuff at one point, sell certain RV stuff, but again, it was kind of like the same thing. And I also didn't have capital to invest in that because I had to survive. Then life was happening. Now I'm back in a survival mentality. So I can only think about my narrow vision of when's the next check going to come so I can get food and where am I going to live at. I was houseless. Okay. Some people say homeless. homeless. I was homeless. Technically, I mean, I was like that for a while. Up until what, a year and a half, maybe 2 years at this point, from when I quit my job and I had to leave, I was homeless. And that's kind of triggering. And then I went down this whole spiral of, if I'm homeless, who's going to love me? If I'm homeless, who's going to listen to me? If I'm homeless, what does that mean? How do I get from here to there, to where I want to go, where I know I'm going to go, where I know where I want to be? Starting over from base level. That was hard. That was hard. And you have to really look at things and say, like, why do I feel this way? Why am I claiming this when I have somewhere to stay? It was other people's houses and stuff, but the whole thing. It was a whole thing. And this is me rebuilding from all of that. And this fly is still flying around here. Jeez, this is a strong one. Sorry, y'all, but I can't deal with the buzzing. It's another one. Where are they coming from? What the heck? I've never had issues with flies until today. And all my drains have things on them. What in the world? All right, y'all, give me a minute. I'll get back to the story in a second. All right. There's another one. 3? Where are they coming from? I literally have not had this problem. What is going on? Okay. I'm going to try to keep talking. That's crazy. Like, no, like, for real. I'm not lying. I had one fly yesterday. I think it was, or the day before yesterday. I got out of here. I think it was yesterday. 3 at one time. Where are they coming from? And I never had issues with flies outside. Okay. Anyway. That part is powerful. Thank you for listening. So let's see, we're about homeless and dealing with all of the beliefs that come from that, because what's my value if I have nothing to show? Like, if you and this is why I talk about, yeah, exactly. And then I had a home, got a 9 to 5 job because I was like, I'm going to just chop wood, carry water, which is a very good book. If you're working a job, if you're doing something you're not too happy about or whatever, even if not, it's just a good book. But I just needed a job to make income to invest in my business. That's why I wanted a job. Of course, to survive and pay bills and all this other stuff. But I got a 9 to 5. I had a home now, had a 9 to 5, and I just went to work, had a routine. I would work out, all this other stuff. Has started to get my routine now, started to get healthy again, mentally, physically, and spiritually. Okay. I felt like I could be more seen as who I was because in the environment that I was in, they were open minded. It was a different situation than what I grew up in. I felt accepted and welcomed and all this other stuff. Love for who I am, that whole type of thing. But anyway, I still had to love myself. It's not outside love, but just being in that environment helped to feel more safety and to be able to express myself more and learn even more about who I am to fully express that. And got the job, was working, making the money, paying the bills, but also putting a little bit to the side to save so that I can invest in my business while I also was working on what I've been creating. And then I started to record again on YouTube. And I started to vlog every day for that 1 month to be consistent. And then from there, I've been doing it twice a week, Sunday and Wednesdays. As you can see, this Wednesday live, I'm going live on Wednesdays until July, when my 90 days is up, and then I'll reassess then on what we're going to do. But long form content with Sunday, Wednesday shorts every day on here. And so I've just been doing that ever since. And I was healthy. I was just working. I was in the grind, doing the routine and everything. Yeah, the handstands. I started to do handstands. Yep. All of that. And then I got laid off from my job. And so, but then I wrote the book right after that. That just came. Like, I wasn't even expecting to write the book, especially not that fast. I mean, I knew I would write a book soon. I knew there was another one I wanted to write that for some reason, just because, again, like I said, I didn't think of myself as a writer or an author or anything like that. I just kind of was doing stuff. But then I just knew that there was another one. I didn't know it was going to be so fast and so soon. But then there's The Way of the Seeker, my book. Okay. But I also was like, I guess this is the time. And also just felt it. Like, I don't know. It just felt like this is the time. I'm going to invest in what I've been waiting to create. Now's the time, because I feel more embodied. I feel I can actually move forward in the direction that I feel aligned and feel called to do. And that's what I want to share with you all. And that's why I'm continuing to post this content. That's why I continue to share this information. All this, like, we're here 86 minutes, which is kind of crazy. It's maybe the longest live that I've done on here. And I just want to share my journey because, again, this is deeper than just selling something or trying to do whatever. Okay. And this is just the first version. Like, there's more to it. This is just what I could do right now with what I had saved. Because, I mean, I'm still like self-employed, but no job. So I've taken my money and invested it into this because I believe in it. Okay. And I want to share this because I know that it can help people. Now, it may look different because I got to make some tweaks and adjustments because I want people's opinions and everything like that. And I have other things that I'm going to do with it and, again, different versions and all of this. But I'm finally at a place where, like, I'm ready to share it. And then it was a whole thing, like, I talked about self-worth and value, because who are you if you don't have those things that you have? If you didn't have your house, you didn't have your car, my car got repoed, okay? If you didn't have your car, if you didn't have your house, if you don't have the clothes, the accessories, the job, and the money, who are you? Again, I talked about the identity crisis of who we are even coming out of the womb, and we're told who to be. Then you got to go on a journey to figure out who you are. But if you lost it all, where does your value come from? Yeah. Yeah. That's deep work to figure that out and to learn. And you have to experience some of these failures to grow from. Because, again, until we experience being uncomfortable, until we experience, like I said, a near-death experience, a traumatic event, an intense moment, a spiritual experience, we won't change and our perspective won't change. Because we're so stuck in the safety mode and comfort zone that why would we change if everything's good? But then life happens. Some people would say to us. Those optimists would say for us. And from there, what do you do? Who do you become? Who are you? You go on the journey to find out who you are. And you learn that because we don't automatically know that. And I believe that's the experience of life, is to experience life in its fullness, fully feeling all the feelings, the good and the bad, the ups and the downs, the food, the smells, hearing the music. Like, what would life be without music? What would life be without art? What would life be without good food, spices? What would life be without physical touch, intimacy, connection, hugs, kisses, good movies, if we didn't have vision. I know not everybody has these things, which is why I say, like, we need to value this. It is a gift. The breath in your lungs, that it's automatic. You don't even have to think about moving anymore because you've learned it. Like, it's you're used to it now. You don't have to think about breathing. You don't have to think about making the sun go up and down. It just does it on its own. How are we looking at it? It's our perspective that determines our beliefs. Our beliefs determines the thoughts that we have, and thoughts determine how we move through the world, our actions, our habits, our behaviors. This is why I talk about what I talk about. Because how can you fully experience life if we don't go on this journey and we don't have a perspective to where we can appreciate these things? You're not going to be able to experience life on that level. And I think that that's sad, and I want more people to be able to experience that while they're here and while they can. Because if nothing matters and, all this bad stuff's going to happen, why not experience it right now while we can fully? All right. So that's my story. This is why I do what I do. This is why I share what I share. Thank you for sticking around with me. I did not think I was going to go on this whole 91-minute story rant. I'm sure it wasn't for the whole 91 minutes, but I do appreciate you all who did stick around. Thank you for the likes as well. If you're new here, subscribe, hit that like button, share this for me. And if you did stick around, I'm about to share what I've been working on. What has taken 6 years at this point. Has it been 6 years? No, 4 years, I guess, at this point, to develop and come to this point. And I've invested all my money into this. And initially, and I talked about this in another live in another video, I had already shared this. And if you haven't noticed this that I wear around my neck, and I started wearing it, and my brother got one as well. He was wearing it around, and then we went around family, and they're all like, "Well, what's that? What y'all got around your neck?" And you see it in my videos, my push-up videos on TikTok and stuff. It's a nasal inhaler, okay? And I got shea butter on my hands, so it's a little difficult for me to twist. But this is a nasal inhaler, okay? There's a cotton wick inside, and you can put whatever essential oil you want on it, and you smell like. I have Palo Santo, and it smells so good. Like this is for me, it smells good. Not everybody's gonna like every scent, okay? But this is a grounding scent for me, and whenever I smell it, it helps me to relax my muscles. It reminds me of a time where I was relaxed and in a better mood and all this stuff. So it helps me to reset in the moment. So I keep it on me. So whenever I'm feeling anxious, sad, whatever the thing is, I can smell this as a reset. And then I remind myself about who I am, my worth, my value, all these things, whatever it is I need. I talk about you declare over doubt. Declare over doubt. Okay, so when I start to have doubt, then I declare what it is. Okay, and I say that and move in that because that is true. And so that's what this is. I've been wearing it, I've been testing it out for myself. I used to wear, if you remember some of my old videos, I don't know if you do or not, but I had the silver pendant, a really skinny silver pendant. And that's what it was like a little it was supposed to be an urn thing, but it had a cotton wick in it, and I would put my oil in there. And this is just something that I started to do myself personally because I needed that at the time when I was going through all the stuff I was going through. That would help me. I would open it up, I would smell it, and relax myself and come back to center and then be able to move forward. At work, I was able to do that. Whenever I needed to pause for my bathroom break or lunch or before work, ever, whatever it was, I would smell that and then be able to reset and go on to my next thing. I've talked about in a video before about having a pause before you do the next thing because we always react. It's learned behavior. This is who I am, blah, blah, blah. But in order to train yourself, reprogram your mind and be someone new, the pause, that's why I say it's purpose in the pause, because the pause is a gap in time. It's a gap, a space for you to be aware and choose what to do next. And then this is how we train ourselves, is what we do in that gap. This is very important. Okay. So this is intentionally pausing to have that space in that gap in that time to choose what to do next. And then it becomes automatic because you're training yourself. Just like Maslow with the dogs, or I think it was Maslow. Where are these flies coming from? With the dogs and the salvatory glands, and like when they ring the bell I believe it is, and then the dog starts to salivate because they used to get a treat or food when that bell was rang. So every time the bells ring, they start to salivate. So anyway, this is what I've been working on. Like I said, my business is called Born Vital right there. So these are nasal inhalers. I've showed this before on one of my lives. If you want one of these, just let me know. I have about 8 of these left, I believe. So when me and my brother went around with these and people saw that, they start to ask questions and I start to show them. But I was like, hey, this is a part of my product, not the whole thing. This is just a part of it. I'm not selling these right now, but I will show it to you and I will share it with you. Hey, thank you for joining me. Thank you for sticking around this whole time. I do appreciate that. You enjoy the rest of your day. Hopefully, I will see you on the next one. And take care of yourself. But yeah, so I showed them. I had a couple of people buy these from me because they wanted it in the moment for different reasons. Okay. So I do have these to sell single per one, $10 a piece. If you want one, but it's a nasal inhaler. You can use it for a lot of different things. You can use whatever scent you want. There's 2 different cotton wicks, so you can have 2 different scents. Okay, I do a grounding one, and then I have a focus one. So when I want to focus and concentrate and work on something, I have a different one that I use. All right, so I have these, but this isn't the color that I wanted. It's a whole process with manufacturers. I am still missing a key piece to this, but I said I was going to share this and I want to share it to get feedback. Okay. So this is one part of the product right here, this nasal inhaler. Okay. But it will be in gold. Actually, today I got them in the mail and it's been a whole thing because they don't make these in small quantities, small batches to customize. And so this is what it's going to look like in the product, the gold version. All right. This is not, it's a little darker than the one that I have. Well, no, it's kind of the same, but it's a different model because you can see the bottom of mine, the top of these actually have it. So it's going to fit differently. Okay. The top can go on a chain for your neck, a necklace, or it can go on a keychain, or you can attach it wherever you want to attach it or just put it in your pocket. It doesn't matter. And it has ridges on this, so it makes it easier than this one to untwist because you saw I was kind of struggling with it. My fingers were sliding on this. Okay. But it has ridges on there. It has a rubber seal to keep the oil and the smells in for a longer time. And this is a nasal inhaler. Okay, that's how you take the top off. And then you remove this to put the cotton wick on the inside. Put a couple drops in there. You put the cotton wick in. Attach this back on. Now, this should be good for at least a week. Okay, the goal is to be able to have this set for a week. And every week you have a day where you reset and we'll put more oil in it and have it ready for the week. Okay, and then you just carry this around with you. It is known that our senses send signals, of course, to our brain to tell us things. Okay, smells can train you very fast, just like sight when we see marketing and things like that, and it trains us. Well, this is actually helps train you faster. I will discuss in my future videos about how to use this and why it's important and how it actually works. But this is what we use and we smell it. This tells our body, our nervous system, that we are safe and we can calm down. We're training ourselves that this smell does that for us. Okay. So this is inside of my product. The next thing is this. This is a coin. Pause, breathe, reset. Okay. This is what we're doing here. Our purpose in the pause. So we're going to be intentional and use that to our advantage to reprogram our mind, to reprogram our body, to make change, lasting change. Okay. So we smell the scent and we have the coin that we hold in our hand. And then we're going to do the next thing, which I'm going to show you in a second. But here's the coin, pause, breathe, reset. This is my logo. Again, Born Vital is my business. You see it there, right here. See, bow. Okay. This is the other one that comes in the kit. And then the last part of physical items that come inside of this box. I have something else that brings it all together. I'm still waiting on it, but with the issues in the Strait of Hormuz and all that, it's issues with shipping. So, you got to deal with that and manufacturing all this other stuff. So it's been taking a while to get here, but I am excited to share this. And this is actually going to be amazing. And I'm happy about it. So the next thing, we have our inhaler for scent, we have this for touch, and then for sight, we have cards. Okay, there are 12 cards here. All right, and there's 4 different things. We have the align, activate. Okay, that's another align, restore, and then pause. Okay, I'm going to go into more detail about what these mean, why there's 4, and everything like that. Don't worry, again, I will demonstrate this, but this live, I'm at 100 minutes at this point. This live has been going on for a while, so I'm going to wrap this up because I don't know who's going to stick around this long. But this is what the other side of the cards look like. They have different practices. Like I said, in my book has practices. This is now so that you can physically implement it in your daily life. If you're not a person who reads books, this is going to be a way that you can implement the things that I've talked about in my books, that I talk about in my videos. Okay, you do these practices. Inhale, hold the coin, do the practice. We train ourselves over a period of time. The first 30 days, okay, this will then be automatic. Your body's going to know when you smell that scent that you can relax your nervous system. This is big. I hope you understand. I hope you understand what this is. If not, it's okay, because I will be talking about this and discussing this and sharing this from now on. Okay? Because I actually have majority of the items. The last piece hopefully will be here soon in the next couple of weeks, and it's going to bring it together, and I'll be able to share that. I'm waiting on packaging as well, but we'll get to the packaging as long as I have all the items, and I can share that with you to show you what this is and what I can actually do for you. That's the most important thing. And so those 3 items are key in training yourself, reprogramming your mind, and establishing new habits for a lifestyle change, for sustainable change. Instead of trying and failing and reverting back and getting worse and all this other stuff, this will actually help you have sustainable change on a deeper level. And I'm initially starting out with only 100. Okay. This is going to be a pilot. The initial first 100, I want to go to those who actually need it, who feel burnt out, who feel tired, who are sick and tired of life, sick and tired of being sick and tired, and want change. Okay? Because I need data, I need factual information. You will actually use these. You have to say that you're going to actually use it and track it so that I can use that data to prove and to show that it works. So then I can take that to certain places to show them that this works and it can help people. So this is very important because I do appreciate the support, but you can support in a lot of different ways. Like I said, I have like 8 of these left. If you want to do that, you can always donate. Just send me a message, whatever it is, on YouTube in my About section. There's different links. There's PayPal, I think Cash App, on there, all this other stuff. So if you want to support in those ways, other than that, for this product, I have to have people who are actually going to use it because I need the data to be able to use, to share, and to create the next version of these. Okay, that will help on a deeper level. And like, this is big. So I hope that you understand. Thank you for sticking around. Thank you for watching it this long. I'm going to jump on TikTok to share this same information there. Not as long as this. It'll be a real quick one. I still have some food that I didn't even finish. It's gotten cold now, but it's all good. It's getting later, so I'm going to hop off here. But I do appreciate you all so much. I really do. I hope that you can understand from my journey and what I share here that there's purpose in the pause. There's purpose in the pause of me not being able to create this until now. I think the now is the time. It is important to do it right now. And it's lining up and it's coming together better than I can imagine, because I just had the idea, but to actually physically see it is amazing. And I'm excited about it. So that's why I really want to share it too. And it's going to help. And I want it to help. So thank you all for sticking with me. As always, we're going to breathe. Release all that tension. Let it out. And then we're able to move forward in our day. And as always, continue to shine on, continue to smile. And hopefully you subscribe, like this video, share it,